I'm currently grinding for a black mask, but while doing this, I decided to have a completely random conversation slash short video. I recently made a community post talking about something that a question I actually asked Jagex and they answered for me, and I figured I might as well make a video about it very quickly just so everyone knows. Hopefully, I'll be not so lazy and edit the image on screen. But basically, Jagex released today, as I'm recording this, information on the necromancy skill, specifically how rituals work and the whole 9 yards. This brought up a question I've actually had for a while, and I thought we were gonna have to wait until we actually got the necromancy release, but it looks like they decided to give us an answer sooner, which is really great. And that is how exactly the bones are going to work in relation to the rituals, right? Or is it each bone is required for the rituals, or whatever have you, right? Just how is it going to work exactly? And in the image, it looked like the bones were grouped together, and I was of the initial thought that they were needed, that you could use any bone at any type for any type of ritual, basically meaning that there's no need for the lower tier bones and you could just go and use whichever bones you have the most of. For me, that would be dragon bones, because dragon bones are super chill to grind, they're decent XP, and you can get large amounts of them. So it's like, okay, I can just stick to dragon bones and I'll keep the other ones. This is not actually the case. Jagex specifically told me, and to quote the exact answer I got, because I asked them, the question I asked them was, if you can use any type of bone, if you can use any type of bone at any level, and there's a bunch more, and that was basically what I asked them, is can you use any type of bone at any level? And they said that's not correct. You can only use big bones. You can only use bones, big bones, baby dragons bones, and wyvern bones on the lesser communion rituals, so the lower tier rituals. And then from there, you unlock a higher tier communion rituals and at later levels. I'm assuming there's different tiers that allow you to use higher tiered bones, basically meaning that it seems to me that the bones or the rituals and the bone usage are going to be broken down into probably a couple different tiers, right? In the first tier, the lesser tier, you can use wyvern bones if you want, or you can use baby dragon bones or whatever. I don't think the actual bone type here is going to make a huge difference. I think it's depending on the section you're doing. Now, I could be very wrong in this one, and maybe, using a baby dragon bone versus a regular bone will actually give you more souls. That might be the case, but we don't actually know, and I probably should have asked a backup answer to that, but I just said thank you for the information because it was actually super helpful information, and I really liked it. But either way, it's not that bad. Another thing that was found out that someone else had asked was about if souls are permanent or not, or are they just like a currency. And from what I was told, is that they are permanent. Now, whether any of this stuff gets released, we'll see. So basically, I don't want to say it doesn't matter what bones you use, but you don't have to worry about if you really don't like grinding a specific type of bone. Let's just say you're trying to get, I think there was like some specific bone that people were grinding, and it was like super annoying. It's super expensive right now. You don't have to grind it because they're all broken down into tiers, so you can just go for whichever tier you want there in that section. It's safe to say, at the very least, that we know what the beginning tier is, so that's bones, big bones, baby dragon bones, and wyverns are the first lower tier. Then it's safe to assume that dragon bones are going to be in that mid tier, and then maybe the more expensive, and then if there is a higher tier, that would be some of the more like super good bones, whichever ones those may be, maybe like frost dragon bones or something. I actually have no idea, but it would probably be more, or the art bones, I think, is a good one, or maybe even dinosaur bones would fall in line with the even higher tier if we do have them. But realistically, it might just be broken down into like two different tiers, or it just scales kind of linearly with like, oh, it can use these bones and then it can use these bones. Who knows, right? But for now, that's the information we have on the bones. It's actually pretty nice, and it's pretty useful, and it's a huge relief as a player, meaning I don't have to worry about the type of bones I'm getting. I just have to worry about you do, but you don't have to worry as much because it's more broken down by section and not by individual. So I don't need to have 1,000 of each bone if I want to. Instead, I can have 3,000 dragon bones, which is much easier, and 3,000 baby dragon bones, which are, in my opinion, much easier. Whatever have you. You know what I mean? Just whatever you have, you can break it down by those tiers. So there's that. And I figured I'd share this information with you guys just so anyone who maybe doesn't want to read the community post, maybe listen to, here you go. Again, this is just information I was given by Jagex, and yeah, so it's all public information, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so it's straight from Jagex. I can tell you exactly who. Hold on one second. It was straight from Mod Timbo, who specifically told me. So in case you're curious who who told me it was Mod Timbo. So there you go. It's all good information. So relax. If you're trying to grind out 1,000 of each bone, don't worry. Just get a different type of bone. You'll be fine. And also, the other thing don't worry about is your souls. Your souls are a actual permanent currency. So you don't, when you get like 10,000 of them, it's not like you're spending 10,000. It's more like you're just going to reach a threshold of souls, and then you unlock something, and then you unlock the next one. You have to reach the next X amount of souls. So it seems to be a very more relaxed method of it, and not so much you have to manage your spending. It's more just okay, I'll just get, just throw some more souls. It's not, so it definitely seems like a more chilled out method. So if you're like, okay, I need 100,000 souls to unlock X amount of things, you just grind out the 100,000 rather than it being like, oh, I got 100,000 souls, so I have to spend 10,000 on this, 5,000 on this, and then 95,000 that you don't have to like break things down. You can just 100,000 gets me all these upgrades, and this is what I get. So there we go. So that's all the information we were given today. There's more in depth that you can actually read, but in terms of extra information that was given out, this is the extra information that was given out. There is, I think, a little bit more extra information that was given out, but I honestly, I didn't bother to look into any of it, so I do apologize.